Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is May 19th, 2024, and Barcelona just secured second place in La Liga table after defeating Rayo Vallecano 3-0 in what was Barcelona's final match of the season at the Olympic Stadium in Montjuic. This is the post-match live analysis. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and this is the post-match live analysis where we analyze Barcelona matches as soon as they end, and where I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments out loud, answering your questions, and getting that discussion going. I do apologize, I had originally scheduled this live stream for 5:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That was a mistake. I meant to schedule it for 3:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So hopefully that did not throw you off, but here we are ready to analyze this match. But first, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. Also, if you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the kit bag. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you hit the Bet Us. Both links are in the description. Now, let's start with the live match analysis because Barcelona just defeated Rayo Vallecano in what was Barcelona's final match at home. There's one match left in the season, which will be against Sevilla. It will be an away match. Barcelona won this match 3-0 with one goal of Robert Lewandowski and two goals by Pedri. Really good goals by Pedri. And with this, Barcelona have taken home three very important points and have secured second place. Now, overall, well, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but if you watch the match against Almeria, if you watch the match against Valencia, there's no need to watch this match because it was same thing, a very boring, slow match, a sluggish Barcelona, highly predictable Barcelona. Barcelona doesn't know how to come out from under pressure, especially when the ball is in the back line with the center backs. As long as you apply just a little bit of pressure, or as long as the opponent applies just a little bit of pressure, it's almost impossible for the team to come out with the ball from behind through passes or through, combining with their teammates. The only way they can do that either by sending the long ball or by giving the ball to Lamine and hope he does his best. So a lot of what we've seen before, a Barcelona that's incapable of coming out from under pressure, a Barcelona that's very slow when it comes to their ball movement, a Barcelona that's incredibly highly predictable. But at least there is a positive or a silver lining out of this, is that now finally Barcelona are at least doing their job against lower table teams, because the play has always been horrendous. But at least before, we used to lose against these teams. Now at least we're winning against these low bottom of the table teams, like Almeria, now against Rayo Vallecano. So if there is a silver lining, if there is something positive out of this, is that even though we're still playing horrendous football, at least we're beating bottom table teams, which is, the minimum, bare minimum that we should be asking from this team. Now, an interesting statistic, which it's a pretty sad statistic, but nonetheless interesting statistic. This is the first time that Xavi has been able to beat Rayo Vallecano. I think this is the sixth time Xavi plays against them, or the fifth time. And this is the first time since he became manager that he was able to beat Rayo Vallecano. This is, I don't know if you want to celebrate this because, yay, we finally beat Rayo Vallecano, or if you just want to cry because, are you kidding me? This is the first time we beat Rayo Vallecano, a bottom of the table team. But that's the state of our project, quote unquote, right now, where it has to take us 2-3 seasons to finally beat a team as weak as Rayo Vallecano, which, by the way, could have been a different result because they did have 2 or 3 clear shots, but one of them was saved by Ter Stegen, another one was a clear misses by their players because, of course, as a bottom of the table team, it's not a team that has, goal scorers up front. Kind of like what happened with Almeria, where Almeria could have easily beat us. They generated some pretty clear shots, but thankfully they don't have the quality to finalize those shots, and that's how Barcelona were able to win. So again, to sum it up, Same match as before. Very, very horrendous football, but at least we are beating these bottom of the table teams, which is the bare minimum that we should be requiring of this club. Another silver lining, of course, is that Barcelona have officially secured second place. Girona did win their respective match, but so did Barcelona. And with one match left, Barcelona is going to be in second place regardless of what happens. So pretty much the season is over. If Barcelona lose against Sevilla and Girona win their respective match, it's not going to matter. Barcelona is still going to finish the season in second place, which was a necessity. It was something that it was the new goal of Barcelona, or the new objective of Barcelona, was to finish second because, of course, as I've said a million times, we had to finish second in order to qualify to the Spanish Super Cup, where you get automatically 6 million just by participating. That's not counting the bonus that you get for making it to the final and the other bonus that you get for winning it. And of course, there's the extra 7.5 million euros from TV rights from La Liga for finishing second instead of third. So Barcelona meeting their objective, a sad objective, which is to finish second, but at least we have met it, because with this victory, the second place is secure, and regardless of what happens next match, nothing is going to change it. Now that we're towards the end of the season, I think it's time to do some reflection. It's time to end the season and spend the next 3 months pretty much planning, because this whole project needs to be scrapped. We need to completely start from scratch, because if we play another season like we played this season and like we played the last season, is going to be another disaster. I don't know what Barcelona need to do. I don't know if they need to bring more reinforcements, get rid of half of the squad, or both, bring a new coach. I don't know, but something needs to be done, because this is not sustainable. I said this at the end of last season. I said this is not sustainable, even though we had won La Liga. And look where we at right now. We're going to finish trophyless for the second time in 3 seasons. And it's not sustainable. We cannot play like this next season again. I think Barcelona have a lot of work to do this upcoming summer, where we're going to have to completely scratch everything, start from the beginning, and completely plan this project from the start, because this is not it. Anyways, let's do some comments, and then we'll talk about the formation and the players. And we already have 2 donations, both from Sampana. The first one, I'm guessing it's, excuse me, a sticker, but my software, crappy software, we cannot really see it. But the second donation, and again, thank you, Zapata, for your donation. But he says this is what a below-level Barca performance should be in a whole season. I don't think I understand your comment. If you want to clarify, please do. I'll make sure to read it out loud. But let's see, what else? Klaus says 3-0 sounds good, but the play is so slow without any tempo and intensity. Cancelo, Koundé, Rafinha, oh my God, they were bad. I agree with you. Again, I'll discuss a little bit more of the players once we talk about the formation, but you're 100% right. I'll take the result. I'm happy that we won. I'm happy that we scored 3 goals. I'm happy that we have secured second place, but there's nothing to rave about as far as the football. And Amompa says Xavi is a good coach. My friend, if you can seriously look yourself in the mirror and say to yourself that what you're watching on TV is good play, then God bless you, because I don't know what else to tell you. Trickshot says you did a Xavi U-turn with your beard. I did. Maybe I should shave more often, because it seems like shaving works for the team. By the way, I once again missed the Barcelona goal for going to the bathroom. I don't know if you guys remember. I can't remember what match it is, but I went to the bathroom twice, and during both times Barcelona scored. Today, the same thing happened to me with the Lewandowski goal. I went to the bathroom real quick, came back, and they had scored. So I think it's true. I think forget about planning next season's project. Forget about bringing a coach or signing players. I think all I have to do is just go to the bathroom. I think I've figured out the key to success for Barcelona, which is to go to the bathroom. Jose Aguilar says, shout out Little Mo for straight up reviews and opinions. No bullshit. Thank you, my friend. Big Mo is on break again. He's giving me a lot of work. I have to constantly cover for him. We'll see if he comes back soon. And Chris says, nice to see Pedri do well. I hope he can get back to his best next season. I hope so too, my friend, because when Pedri is on top of his form, he's easily one of the top 3 best players on the squad. And then Mick Parsa says that Inter match we lost 1-0 really took away the team's confidence. Excuse me, I have a lot of congestion right now in my chest. That's why I keep clearing my throat. But anyways, let's talk about the formation and the players more specifically. But this is the formation that Xavi Hernandez started with, of course, Ter Stegen in goal. Jules Koundé as a right back, Inigo and Kouarsi as a center backs, Joao Cancelo as our left back, with Sergi and Ilkay in the middle. SofaScore has it as a 4-2-3-1. I honestly saw it more as a 4-3-3, with Sergi more as a pivot. And then in the midfield, we had Fermin, and of course our front three was Lamine, Lewandowski, and Rafinha. Ter Stegen. I think Ter Stegen, since his back surgery, he's been back to being that German wall that we always knew. He's been top form since he came back, and today was no different. He had two very important saves where otherwise the score could have been completely different. And Ter Stegen is still in contention for the Zamora, which is the trophy that's given to the best goalkeeper. He did keep a clear. Oh my God, why am I blanking on the word? No, he didn't allow any goals today, so he's still in contention for it. Right now, the number one place is Athletic Club de Bilbao's goalkeeper, but since Ter Stegen did not allow any clean sheet, there we go. Since Ter Stegen kept a clean sheet this match, he's still in contention for it. We'll see what happened during the final match against Sevilla. If Ter Stegen keeps another clean sheet and Athletic Club de Bilbao allows some goals, then Ter Stegen could win his Zamora for the second season in a row. Because let's not forget, Ter Stegen did win the Zamora trophy last season for being the best goalkeeper. And then Inigo and Kouarsi, not the best match for Kouarsi. He was caught slipping a couple of times. Inigo, as always, Imperial. You know, you could tell the experience that Inigo has is definitely a huge, huge plus for him. Pau Kouarsi, sometimes his inexperience does come in, does rear its head. Not to take anything away from Kouarsi. Of course, he is still an incredible center back. And let's not forget, he's only 17 years old. And if he's performing at the level that he's currently performing at 17, you can only imagine how much better he's going to be. Because remember, players don't hit their prime until 25, 26. So Pau Kouarsi has another 8-9 years of improvement before he even hits his prime. If he's already doing what he's doing at this age, my God, watch out. This guy's going to be an absolute beast. But nonetheless, a couple of mistakes here and there by Pau Kouarsi. And it highlights one big problem with Barcelona, which we've seen a lot this season, and it's Barcelona's back is always exposed. And it's very, very easy for teams to get behind our defensive line. We saw it against Almeria. Thankfully, they weren't able to finalize. And today, Rayo Vallecano did the same exact recipe. Long balls to our defensive line's back, which left us exposed 2-3 times. But again, fortunately, just like Almeria, Rayo Vallecano don't really have that firepower up front that they were able to capitalize on it. But that's a big problem with Barcelona's defense, that whoever's going to be the coach, whether it's Xavi or someone else, they're going to have to work on it, because our back is very, very exposed to long balls, and teams seem to continuously capitalize on it. Joao Cancelo, I was not happy when I saw Joao Cancelo start, because honestly, I thought Hector Fort did an amazing job last match against Almeria. I think Hector Fort deserved another start today over Joao Cancelo. And I was already thinking that at the beginning of the match, and the match itself only reinforced that feeling, because Joao Cancelo's match was horrendous. Same as usual. He's playing his own match. It's like he is in a 1v1 kind of sport, not in an 11 versus 11 sport, trying his own dribbles, playing his own match, doing his own thing. Doesn't care about who's around him, what teammates are around him. He just wants to do his thing. And God help us if anyone says anything. But I really thought this was a good match for Hector Fort to start ahead of him. Jules Koundé, a little bit of a slow match for him. I don't know if it's exhaustion, because he has played every single minute since the winter break. So he looked a little bit slow. He looked a little bit tired, a little bit sluggish. He made a couple of mistakes here and there when coming out with the ball from behind. I think it's exhaustion, but it wasn't an awful match. It just wasn't one of his best. And then Sergio Roberto, I did think he had a bad match this time around. And I think it had to do with the fact that he was played as a pivot. Sergio Roberto, as we've seen time and time again, the best place he shines in is as an interior. That's his best position. When he plays as a right back, it doesn't really work. Today he played as a pivot. It didn't really work. That's why he was subbed out during the half, because he had a horrendous first half. And I don't know why Xavi continues to try to put Sergio Roberto in these all makeshift positions. He's pretty much played everywhere. He's played as a false nine. He's played as a winger. He's played as a fullback. He's played as an interior. Now as a pivot. I don't know why they keep insisting on making all these weird things or weird like experiments with Sergi. The only thing missing is to see. I wouldn't be surprised if I see Sergi next match with gloves on and playing instead of Ter Stegen, because that's where we at. I don't know why Xavi keeps insisting on experimenting with him. We've seen it time and time again that he's best as an interior. Why not play him there? That is his natural position. When he came up through La Masia, that's the position that he played in. I don't know why throughout his career they just threw him everywhere. But anyways, not a good match by Sergi. And let's talk about the comments, and then we continue talking about the rest of the player and the rest of the formation. Jonathan says, Mo, do you think Hansi is still the best option? It depends. Depends on who are the other candidates. As I explained in yesterday's video, they're considering Rafa, Hansi, De Zerbi, and Marcelo Gallardo. By the way, Marcelo Gallardo's 48. I think I said 28 by mistake. He's 48. Out of those options, I would like De Zerbi, actually, because I feel like De Zerbi really knows how to put a project from scratch. He really knows how to work with youngsters, which is something that Barcelona has a lot. I would like De Zerbi. But Flick would also be a good option. But one thing is clear is we cannot continue with Xavi. That's clear as daylight. I don't understand how there are still people who defend them out there. If you really are content with what you're seeing from Barcelona, then I don't know what to say. Because when I watch Barcelona, I want to cry because it's so horrendous what I'm seeing. But, people would rather put in more effort. The thing about mediocre people, they're always going to spend more energy on defending mediocrity than on demanding more, which is a very strange thing to do, because if you're already putting all that energy into wanting to keep the status quo, why not use that energy to want better? I'll never understand mediocrity. I'll never understand mediocre people, how they're just content with being mediocre and they'll do everything in their power to remain mediocre when they could be using that power or that energy to be better. Why would you want to be better? I don't understand it. But anyways, McMarson says, Mo, I know you will call me dumb, but hear me out. I would never call you dumb, my friend. Hear me out. Deco being sporting director ruined Barca with Alemany. We knew that what our targets and we are heading with Deco. It's chaos. Deco out. I wouldn't blame this on Deco, to be honest. If anything, Deco, I think he's done a good job. He has made some pretty good signings. A lot of youngsters like Mika Fai. A lot of, he's been really good at scouting youngsters, up-and-coming talent for very low cost, which is what Barcelona need to be doing. If anything, and I don't mean to blame Alemany because I think Alemany was a great sporting director, but if anything, a lot of the bad signings were Alemany's. Ferran Torres, that was straight up Alemany signing. He's the one who insisted on him. Rafinha, that was Alemany signing too. Romeo, that was Alemany's idea. So if anything, a lot of the failed signings, Lewandowski, his ascending contract, which is a horrible idea. I don't know whom, well, I do know, but why would anyone think it's a great idea to give an aging Lewandowski an ascending contract where the older he gets, the more he earns? That makes no sense to me. And then guess what? That was Alemany. So I'm not trying to say Alemany's trying to blame Alemany, but to say that Alemany is, this saint who did all amazing work and never made any mistakes, and Deco's the evil one. I don't think that's true, because Alemany did an amazing job, but he also made a lot of mistakes. As far as Deco, so far he's done a good job with the signings he's made. He hasn't been at the club long enough for me to say, okay, these are the bad things. I don't know. I think Deco has been getting a lot of hate because he's always been against Xavi. So a lot of people who defend Xavi have constantly been trying to, attack Deco's image. But I mean, I think time and time again time has proven Deco right. Xavi is not the coach for Barcelona, and Deco has seen it from day one. But Laporta has always let his feelings get in the way, and look where we at. Sabana says, like, what I mean is what a stinker should be looking like. A 5-3 loss to Villarreal, a 4-2 loss to Girona. We need to keep our standards from the past. I agree. Look, Barcelona are allowed to play horrible matches. But if you're playing horrible matches against bottom teams, we expect you at least to win, even if it's through horrible football. Kind of like we did today against Rayo, kind of like we did against Almeria. That's the bare minimum that you should be doing, even with bad football. But to be playing bad football and to also lose against bottom table teams, which we did a lot at the beginning of the season and last season, that's when it becomes a problem. Nima says, I'm glad Pedri's looking a bit more on form. Needs more time to get back to his old form, though. All right, speaking of Pedri, let's get back into talking about the formation and the players. We talked about Sergi Ilkay. Good match by Ilkay. At this point, it's like with Ilkay, it's more of a matter to point out when he's had a bad match, because overall he's always having good matches. In the front, Fermin, not his best match this time around. He did have that volley from outside the box. I think Fermin should definitely work on developing that, because we've seen that he's capable of scoring those screamers from outside the box. And I think he should continue to vote on that. Continue to work on that, continue to improve on that, and to dare to do it more and more, because we don't have many players who can score from outside the box. Fermin is one of those few players. So if he can hone that skill and continue to work on it and improve it, I think it'd be a great, great boost. But not the best of matches of Fermin. But nonetheless, he had an okay match. He wasn't like horrible where, oh my God, why is he still playing? But he's had better matches. Lamine, as always, absolutely imperial. The only one of the very few players on the squad that can actually create danger, that can create chances, that can break lines with his dribbling. He's an absolute menace to any team he plays against. He just slices through defenders like a hot knife through butter. He's an absolute menace, and today was no different. He did have, of course, that beautiful assist to Robert Lewandowski, which was also a great goal by Lewandowski. The way he stops it with his chest and then he scores, which scores a point that I've been making a lot, which is that's what I ask of Barcelona, is to get the ball to Lewandowski inside the box, because we know if that happens, it's a guaranteed goal. That's what Lewandowski gives you. As much as we like to complain about him being slow or being sluggish, or sometimes his attitude is not the best, but if you give the ball to Lewandowski inside the box, it's a guaranteed goal. And that's what the team has been lacking a lot this season, is getting them the goal in the box. And also, Lewandowski has also been sometimes at fault for that, because he gets impatient. So a lot of times we see him coming down all the way to the midfield, which is, to me, it's nonsensical, because if the best place for you is the box, why are you leaving the box? But nonetheless, this goal just shows that if you get the ball to Lewandowski in the box, he's going to score. That's a guarantee. And that's what the team need to work on, especially if Lewandowski stays next season. The team whoever the coach is going to be, will have to practice that and improve upon that, because Lewandowski needs to receive the ball in the box. If he receives the ball outside the box, it's pretty much useless, because if you think that Lewandowski is that kind of center forward that can grab the ball in the midfield and dribble past defenders and score, then you have the wrong impression of who Lewandowski is, because that's not the kind of player that he is. Now, he did have that one chance where he surprisingly did dribble past a defender, but then got selfish with it and kicked it at the goal. Instead of passing it to Rafinha, who was wide open and could have been another goal. But I think that's, and this is a problem I talked about when I mentioned the signing of Bernardo Silva. I think a lot of times the problem with signing older players who have already won everything is that they're no longer hungry for those collective trophies. Now they're hungry for their individual trophies. And I think Lewandowski, that definitely came through during that play for me. Like, he was more concerned about his Pichichi trophy, and I think that's why he looked to score the goal versus doing the right thing, which was to pass it to Rafinha, who was wide open in front of an empty goal. And that's a problem. That's a problem, because this is not the first time we've seen that. We've seen Lewandowski being selfish a lot. I get center forwards, they're usually selfish. They want to score. But sometimes you have to put your ego aside. Sometimes you have to put your desire to win a Pichichi aside and think about the team, because that was a clear error. And that should have been a pass to Rafinha, who could have scored Barcelona's second goal. But fortunately, there was Pedri, who, of course, we do have to talk about, because he scored two amazing goals. The first one came off a brilliant play by Joao Felix, which is, I don't know whether to celebrate that play or whether to cry, because I've always said it since day one. Joao Felix is clearly an incredibly gifted player. He's one of the most talented players in Europe, if not the world. But his attitude, his bad attitude, his laziness, his, this lack of desire to work hard, to compete, is what is stopping him from potentially becoming one of the best players in Europe, because you can see that he has the skills to do so. That play, which resulted in Pedri's first goal, or Barcelona's second goal, was a clear indication of the talent that Joao Felix has, but his laziness, his lack of dedication, his lack of intensity, his bad attitude hinders him. And I've always said, if he worked half as hard as Rafinha works, or half as hard as Fermin Lopez works, he could easily become top 5 in Europe. But it's sad. It's sad because it's such wasted talent. But nonetheless, brilliant play by Joao Felix, which the way Pedri gets the ball and then shoots it. I mean, absolutely great goal. And then, of course, the third goal, that deep pass by Ronald Araujo, taking advantage of the fact that Rayo Vallecano had advanced their defensive line because, of course, they needed to. They were losing 2-0. They needed to start attacking, so they advanced their lines. And Araujo saw it, took advantage of it, and Pedri did an amazing job running into that empty space. And then the way he protected the ball with his body and scored was the way a center forward would score a goal, the way you would expect an attacker or a center forward to score a goal, not a midfielder who's tiny, by the way. He had 3 defenders on him, and he still was able to bring it down, control it, shoot it, score a goal. 2 amazing goals by Pedri, who, by the way, I'm very, very happy that he was able to score this, because I think it's going to go a long, long way in boosting his morale, boosting his spirits, because Pedri has not had the best of seasons. He's had a season marred with injuries. He hasn't had much consistency. So even when he was healthy, he hasn't been unable to be on top of his form, because that happens, right? When you're not playing consistently, you're not going to be on the top of your form. So hopefully these 2 goals will help, boost Pedri's morale and help him achieve his top form. And let's hope that, I forgot his name, but the Spain's coach, hopefully, he can take care of him and continue building upon what Barcelona has been doing a great job, because Barcelona have been doing a really good job easing in Pedri back slowly, giving him slowly more and more minutes, giving him enough rest, but at the same time, enough minutes so he can, get back into form without risking him getting re-injured. I think Barcelona have put a really good plan in place. Let's hope Spain can continue working on that and not just, try to play him 90 minutes of every match and burn him out once again, because it looks like Pedri's on his way back, and I would hate to see all that work being flushed down the toilet just because, Spain wants, prefer to win trophies and sacrifice their players' health. Other mentions, Rafinha, okay match by Rafinha as always. Mediocre match. I don't expect much from the Brazilian anymore. Vitor Roque came in for a few minutes. It's really tough to judge Vitor Roque because he does not play enough minutes for me to say, okay, yeah, he's great or he's bad or whatever. When I see him on the field, you can definitely tell that he's a very explosive player. The way he can speed up is insane. I mean, he's just like 2-3 steps and he's already reached top speed. That's great. But I also see how sometimes on the field, it's like he doesn't know where to position himself. He doesn't know where to run to. A lot of times he looks lost on the field. I don't know if that's just a matter of the fact that he's still learning the Barcelona ways. He's still learning the concepts. But, I see one positive, his explosiveness, a negative, he sometimes looks lost. But again, I haven't seen him play enough for me to say, yes, he's great and Xabi's doing a horrible job not playing him, or he's terrible and Xabi's right. For now, all I know is that Xabi says he's not ready. I have no reason to doubt what Xabi's saying. Anyways, let's do more comments. All right, let's see. Jay says 15 clean sheets. I guess you talk about Ter Stegen. I don't know how much, but if you say 15, I trust you, my friend. Sampana says it was basically a 10 versus 11 with Cancelo because he does nothing. Yeah, if Laporta tries to keep Cancelo, I'm going to scream because that's going to be a problem. Nima says, pivot. A balanced single pivot has a major role in both disrupting opponents' counterattacks and proper playmaking. Yes, which I forgot to mention. Christensen, once he came in, it would completely change things because, like I said, Sergi's not a pivot. I don't know why Xabi decided to play Sergi in a pivot. Maybe because Christensen hasn't been fully fit. But you can completely see how the big difference made when Christensen came in. Barcelona immediately became a lot more balanced team. They started cutting those deep balls that Rayo Vallecano were relying on a lot because, like I said, we have a big problem where our backs are constantly exposed, and Rayo Vallecano were taking advantage of that during the first half, sending those long balls to the backs of our defensive line, which was working. But the moment Christensen came in, that changed because he gives you that balance, which was desperately needed when Sergi Roberto was on the field. Because again, Sergi is not a pivot, nor is he a right back, nor is he a winger. I don't know why Xavi continues to do these experiments with him when we've clearly seen Sergi does best when he's an interior. And he also does best when he doesn't play a full match because, he's old. I don't think he no longer can sustain playing full 90 minutes. Let's see. Mark says, most games I am bored watching Barca games. It just shouldn't be that way. I feel you, my friend. Today was another snooze fest. I think it picked up towards the second half a little bit more. It wasn't as bad as the first one, but the worst first half was definitely sad. Emmanuel says, there is no debate unless the board wants to do something stupid. We should go with Flick. There is debate because it's not as easy as just saying, it's Flick. Or because there's positive and negatives to everybody. Flick is positive. He won a six-tuple with Bayern, which is an incredible achievement. Only two coaches in history have been able to do that, Flick being one and Pep the other. Negative, he's only had one season with Bayern. So it's not as clear. It's not like, it's Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola, of course. There's no question. There's no debate. It's not the same with Flick. The same with De Zerbi, right? De Zerbi, he has a lot of positives. He really knows how to develop young talent. He is changing the way football is being played by coming up with his own philosophy. But he's only coached small teams. So there is debate. If it was that easy, we would have went with Flick a long time ago. Let's see. What else? Sorry, this moved on me a little bit. Louis says, seems like Pedri's getting his confidence back. Yes, and I hope these two goals, help him continue gaining his confidence, because when Pedri's on top of his form, he's easily top 3 in the league. All right, let's see. Mark says, Arda Güler hardly played this season, but watch his goal tally. We make too much excuses for our players. I agree 100%. And that's actually brings me to a good point. And it's, we have become so used to mediocrity that people are now, they continue to lower the standards in order to meet our players' output. And it should not be like that. Barcelona is one of the greatest clubs in the world. It's one of the most historic clubs in the world. It's one of the biggest clubs in the world. And we should always, always demand greatness. We should always demand the best out of our presidents, our boards, our coaches, our players. We should always demand the best. If you can't give us the best, you need to leave. Someone else who can needs to take your place. But this whole lowering the bar to meet our players' output, that's how you become a mediocre team. People celebrating that Rafinha scored 7 goals, that's how you become a mediocre team. Like, wow, he has one of the most amount of goals. He's one of our top scorers. When has 7 goals from one of our attackers ever been good enough for Barca? Our attackers used to put up 30, 40 goals a season. Now it's like we're down to 7. So what happens if Rafinha leaves and someone else comes in who can only score 3 goals? And he's still like, should we now lower our bar and say, okay, yeah, 3 is great. Oh, now he leaves and someone comes who doesn't score. Oh, it's okay, scoring is not important. We shouldn't stop lowering the bar and our demands to meet our players' output. We should instead demand the best out of our players, and if our players cannot meet that standard, there's the door. Someone else who can meet the standard should take your place. All right, one more, and then we will end this live stream. But Brainy says, Bo, we need a proper right back before we play Sergio out of position. Now Kunde playing. We do have a proper right back. His name is Hector Fort. We also have Julian Araujo. We'll see how he does during the preseason, whether he can earn a spot on the first team. Kunde might be playing out of position, but he's been doing a great job. And let's not forget, Kunde also plays as a right back in the French team. So I wouldn't necessarily say he's out of position. He's obviously shown that he can do both, center back and right back. So I wouldn't be I would not prioritize the right back position. I think we have much bigger priorities like the pivot, like the left wing, because we definitely don't have a proper left winger more than more than the right back, where we do have plenty of options. All right. Anyways, guys, that is all for this live stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. For your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, your donations, your memberships, everything. Thank you. You guys are amazing. I will be making news videos later today, so stay tuned because there is a lot to discuss. So see you later tonight in tonight's videos. And for now, Visca Barça.